Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm here in Riverfront Park. You can see the giant red wagon and the clock tower behind me. But today we are gonna go through and rate the 9 best suburbs here in Spokane, Washington, based off of what the people that already live here think. We're gonna be looking at niche.com ratings, which is a publicly sourced rating website for best schools, best neighborhoods, things like that. We're gonna see if these ratings make sense, if there's something you should rely on. I'll try and give my take and explain to you why I can't answer, is this a good neighborhood or a bad neighborhood? Let's get into this video. All right, so one of the most common questions I get on my website, or maybe accusations I should even say, is that I'm not honest about the good parts of the Spokane, the bad parts of Spokane. I'm leaving out safety issues and things like that. And the reason that I can't be blatantly, this is a bad neighborhood, this is a good neighborhood, is because I'm a licensed realtor here in Spokane, Washington. And I just had a comment as well saying that I don't live here. I'm in Spokane, so I promise you I live here. But anyway, the reason I can't just be so blatant about you should not move to that neighborhood, you should move to this neighborhood, is because of fair housing laws. Back in the 50s, 60s, 70s even, there was problems with people, with realtors, pushing people into certain neighborhoods, causing segregation issues, race issues, things like that. And so we have things called fair housing laws to protect the protected classes. And so that's why I have to abide by those laws so I can be a realtor for a long time and help you all make your move here to Spokane for as long as I'm in this career. So I just wanted to lay that out there. So today we're using niche.com. I'm using that website to put this list out there and just giving you what the crowd has decided is a good fit or the best neighborhoods here in Spokane. I'll try and put my own spin on it as much as I can and be honest with you, but just wanted to lay the ground for this video. All right, so working our way backwards, the number 9 on our list is the Spokane Valley. And so there will be some neighborhoods that maybe I would make smaller. Maybe there's neighborhoods that are really small that I would normally as a Spokaneite round into a couple others. But for this, we're using niche.com. So Spokane Valley is number 9. There were 273 votes. So I'd say that's decently crowdsourced because there's about over 100,000 people that live just in the Spokane Valley alone. But it rated as a B for schools, C+ for housing, B for families, C for safety, A- for nightlife, and B+ for diversity. And so the C+ for housing, I would say probably just because Spokane Valley has kind of seen one of the biggest price increases over the last handful of years as things have gotten crazy here in Spokane. But Spokane Valley has just always been a little bit more expensive than Spokane proper. And then there's maybe just not as much diversity in housing. It's just very much just single family homes built in the 70s, some earlier, but primarily 70s, 80s is when the Spokane Valley was really built up. So you're not getting housing that is kind of like that quintessential Spokane charm, because you find that more on the South Hill or North Spokane itself. And then a C for safety. I'm taking this with a grain of salt. Obviously, look at a crime map if you really want to know what it's like. But this was only one of 3 out of the 9 that even had a rating for safety. So yeah, I'd always recommend look at a crime map, compare the crime map to a crime map of your area to see, because those can be very intimidating the first time you look at one. You see all of this crime going on, but if you compared it to where you live, you might realize it's not actually that different. All right, so the pavilion's behind me. They're actually getting set up for a concert because the summer concert series here is actually doing really well. We're getting some cool bands through Spokane, which is a needed change. They've been skipping over us for a long time on their tours, and now we're getting some cool people. And I think like Shaky Graves is coming soon, stuff like that. So anyway, the next one on the list, number 8, is Town and Country. So this is there's 3 of these neighborhoods on here that I kind of just blend together. As somebody that has lived here for a while just because they're small, but kind of just claim it as North Spokane is what it would be referred to, but Town and Country kind of falls into that. It's a section to the west of Division and north of Francis, and it has kind of the junction of Monroe and Wall going right through it. So this is pretty just standard suburban area, good decent schools, couple local coffee shops through there, but really just kind of standard housing. I would say very median price point, mid 400s to mid 500s roughly. So nothing special, but kind of just straightforward, which is what a lot of people are looking for in their first house. And so Town and Country rated B+ for schools, B+ for housing, B+ for families, no rating for safety. Like I said, a lot of these have that. B- for nightlife, and a B for diversity. So like I said, kind of just run-of-the-mill, walking right down the line of B for Town and Country. And yeah, that's that one. And as I'm going through these, if you live in one of these neighborhoods, and let me know what your thoughts are about this rating. Do you think it's accurate, not accurate? And do you feel like a neighborhood was left off of this list? Because I definitely feel like there's a few that were very much left off of this list. But working our way to number 7 is Cheney, which was the second highest rated one, or like most ratings, most reviews. There's 136 reviews for Cheney. It was a B- for schools, C- for housing. Imagine just because it's not a lot of housing out there. B for families, B- for safety, A- for nightlife, which was surprising, and then B for diversity. So nightlife for Cheney, I mean, this is very much just a college town. Eastern Washington University is out there, and then it's kind of just our agriculture town. It's blue collar town. There's not like, I mean, if you're out there, you either work at the university, you're working in agriculture, you're a student, but you work on the railroad potentially, but there's not a lot of businesses out in Cheney, besides like real estate offices really. So I'm interested in the nightlife. There's obviously bars and things that are for the students, but even then, I would not usually say anybody's going out to Cheney to spend a night on the town. So let me know your thoughts. There's the Cheney Rodeo, which is a good time. I think they have some like square dancing, stuff like that. So not what I would do, but I think it's pretty popular for a lot of people around here. All right, well, I'm confused because this walking bridge was literally opened like a year ago, and now it's closed and being rebuilt again. So so it's a cool little walking bridge when it is open. It's a cool view of the falls and everything. But we'll walk over to this bridge so you can see the falls a little bit. There's Spokane River. But next up on the list is Mead. And so Mead was an A- in schools, B for housing, B+ for families, no rating for crime, C+ for nightlife, and B for diversity. And that was a total of 27 votes. So I would definitely agree with the schools, just based purely off of ratings. Mead School District, if you look at pretty much any website, is one of our highest rating school districts in Spokane. It's a small school district, but with many higher priced homes, and so the tax dollars going to that smaller district is pretty concentrated, so they just have a lot of resources available to them. But in terms of nightlife, I totally agree too. It's way up in North Spokane. There's not a ton up there for entertainment, like your close access to Green Bluff, but obviously that's a semi-seasonal thing, and or outdoor activity. You're close to Mount Spokane, but if you want to get out on the town, go to a bar or something, you're going to be driving down Division at night, and you're just kind of far away from everything. So I do agree with it being just a little bit distant. You're going to be in a great house, a great neighborhood, but you're gonna have to work to go out and do something. So number 5 on the list is Millwood, and so Millwood is a small little area on the north side of the valley off of Argonne. Cute little neighborhood, pretty affordable housing overall. You can generally find something in the mid 300s up to the mid 400s depending on condition. And then it's a cute little community. You have the Millwood Brewing Company, you have a Rocket Bakery there. So it's a small little area, but I would say it's a nice community, and the ratings say so as well. It's a B- for schools, B for housing, B+ for families, no rating for safety again, B+ for nightlife, and a B for diversity. So I mean, overall, this is a great first-time home buyer area. There's a handful of small multifamily, so it's actually a decent investment neighborhood. So yeah, that's that one. And then the next one, we're just gonna kind of move down the list a little bit faster. We have Medical Lake. So Medical Lake is out in the West Plains with Cheney as well. It's just south of the Air Force Base, and the schools out there have their own Air Force Base programs for kids that are traveling around the country with their military families. And so I think that's a really cool benefit of, if you're PCSing to this area, actually living in Medical Lake, because a lot of the military people are out there, they're at the schools, and so you have a good support system. Many of the military families live all over Spokane because it's really not that hard to get to the base. I mean, you could live all the way out in Liberty Lake and be a 30-40 minute drive, and if you're coming from a larger area, that's not really a big deal for you. But it's just a good community, a good support system for people that are in that situation. But it's a B for schools, A- for housing. Housing just tends to be a little bit more affordable out there. You can get a little bit more bang for your buck. A- for families. Again, like I said, support system. Safety, no rating. B- for nightlife. I mean, I don't even know what you would do in Medical Lake. I honestly have no idea. And then B- for diversity. And so I just want to reiterate, like, even with these ratings, like, I think there's multiple neighborhoods that should be on here that are not on here. South Hill, 5 Mile, for instance, things like that. But I don't know if they're just not being rated or what. But these are just people's experiences and their feelings. This isn't necessarily the data. And so as you reach out to me to make your move to Spokane, we really sit down, hear your needs, what are the things you're looking for, what's most important to you, and then at that point we can get a little more granular on, oh, this pocket of this neighborhood really provides that for you, or oh, you're looking for this type of house. Well, this is the 3 areas that you're gonna most likely find that house in this price point, stuff like that. And so yeah, you have to take these lists with a grain of salt. You also have to remember that people are more likely to post a negative comment than a positive comment. And so that's the other aspect of this, is that people that are angry are way more likely to post something and comment on something than those that are happy with the situation. And so I always take that as into consideration as well. So number 2 and 3, or 3 and 2, is Country Homes and Fairwood. And so I'm going to combine these two because they're basically just right next to each other on that north side of Spokane where Town and Country is at. So I kind of combine these, but the prices between these two neighborhoods fluctuate just a little bit, with Country Homes being a little bit more expensive. It's a little bit further north. And so we have, but they're very similar ratings. So I mean, they both are A- for schools because they're pretty much the same school district and similar schools. B- for houses because they're more expensive in Country Homes, and B for Fairwood for housing. B+ for families for Country Homes, and A- for Fairwood. Both of them don't have a rating for safety. B+ for nightlife for Country Homes, and B- for Fairwood. And then they both have a B for diversity. And then Country Homes had 24 votes. Fairwood had 16. So like I said, it's almost I'm going to consider it a tie, and I would even tell you that it's just north Spokane. It's just north of Francis along Division, and so it's kind of, to me, all similar, just slightly different price points by $100,000 or so, depending on where you're at. All right, and lastly, a popular vote for many websites that you'll see is Liberty Lake. They had 50 votes, A- for school, B for housing, A for families, and then B- for safety, nightlife, and diversity. Liberty Lake's growing a lot, and there's a handful of new construction projects going out there. Many people are going out there because it's so close to the Idaho border, but so much more affordable that they could get maybe they have $1 million budget. They can get the massive house with the beautiful view of Liberty Lake and the golf course and all that. But then they can be a 15-minute drive to downtown Coeur d'Alene to have dinner at the resort and all that stuff. But even if they live in Spokane, they've got a 30-40 minute commute. And so it's really kind of the happy medium for a lot of people, especially my out-of-towners, because any of you coming from California, Salt Lake, anything like that, 40-minute drive's no big deal. That's going to the park for a lot of you. And so if you're getting stuck in a little bit of traffic, which is laughable here in Spokane for most of you, then that's, I think, why it's so desirable. Like I said, you're gonna get more bang for your buck than you will in Idaho, but you're so close to Idaho, you can basically get all the amenities. It's so close, you could even go get your gas there and save over $1 a gallon. So yeah, that's kind of the list right there. So like I said in the beginning, What do you think of this list? Were there neighborhoods that were left off? Do you think these are accurate ratings? If you live there, what do you like? What do you not like? Leave your comments, opinions down below. I'd love to have a conversation with you. And if you are moving to the area here in Spokane, Washington, I'd love to be your real estate resource. I'm Haydn Halsted, realtor here in Spokane, Washington. Use the link down in the description to schedule a Spokane discovery call at a time that's convenient for you. I'd love to chat and see how I can help you out. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.